So one of the topics that's been near and dear to my heart the last number of years has been the struggles of men and boys. Is there a difference? And so I've seen different things. So Jonathan Haidt's research has indicated that social media has a particularly negative impact on teenage girls.
Yep.
Apparently they're very susceptible to caring about what people think of them and on Instagram. I mean, It's very dark. I shouldn't laugh because it's very, very real. At the same time, you see spikes in problems among men and boys. Are you seeing any difference in terms of interaction with the product?
Yeah. So first of all, we know men and boys are hurting in this country, right? And around the world. We've talked about it before, at the Ideas Festival. And I think it's something that is near and dear to my heart. I've been in a men's group on Monday nights for the last 5 or 6 years. Because it's always been an important part of my life and trying to figure out how do we connect with other men. And so a few things. One, I think men are very susceptible to thinking about judgment and shame, right? For most of us, even for me, the idea of trying to say, okay, I admit that it feels almost like it's failure to say I need to get help, right? To go put your hand up and say, I want to get a therapist. When I've talked to so many of my friends, especially early on in the stage of trying to get access to mental health care, right? Putting your hand up, almost everybody's like, no, I'm fine. I don't need help, right?
Wow.
And the cool thing about AI is that there's no judgment or shame on the other side, right? You could say anything you want to it, and it's not going to have an opinion on what you said. And I think that actually ends up being something where we have a ton of men that use our platform, actually a lot more than I think end up using most mental health platforms, because you can say all the things that are on your mind that you've been afraid to say to somebody else, and you don't have to worry about getting judged. And so I think we need new solutions for boys and men, because we've got to figure out how to get them practicing how to move through emotions, how to have difficult conversations, how to show up in life.
So I've got a question. Are there gender differences in the use of conventional therapy? Because I don't know. It's mostly women.
Yeah.
Not surprising, but interesting. And then for Slingshot, is it more 50-50?
It's not quite 50-50, but it's close. Yeah. It's like, I would say we have way more men using AI than you will see in probably any other non-AI platform, right? And so and it kind of makes sense. It's easy to pick up. It's on your own schedule.
It's kind of efficient.
It's efficient.
Yeah. When you talk about shame among men, I think there is like this, I'm tough, I don't need stuff. And then if you raise your hand and say, hey, I could kind of use a hand here, it feels vulnerable and something that you might tell a few friends about, but you certainly wouldn't want to disclose to the public. Though this has changed, because I think a number of professional athletes have just been like, hey guys, and I think it's true for a lot of entrepreneurs too, because when you're in a situation that, let's say there's a company and there, maybe even some public facing responsibilities, you kind of need to be on and functional all the time. And then it's very, very isolating. And then in the back, you're like, oh shit, who do I even talk to about this? Because you can't talk to anyone in your company about it. It's hard to find anyone who can relate to your particular struggles, because if you talk to, someone who's not an entrepreneur, they'd be like, oh, like, what do you mean sitting pretty? Like,
totally,
et cetera, et cetera. That's why I would call presidential candidates from Iowa. I'll be like, what do I do now? I wouldn't do that, but if it had been an option.
Yeah. What do you think I should do about my emotions in this very moment? They're like, win.
Yeah. So I'm with you on the struggle, the isolation, the shame many men feel. And I do like the efficiency angle of this, because even for someone like me, where you'd be like, hey, this seems like a phenomenal cost-benefit ratio, where it's like, yeah, I can try it. It's like time, tiny bit of money, but I don't need to go to an office somewhere. There's not the awkwardness of, like you said, like me having to explain stuff to, another human. If I don't like the human, I have to switch. Whereas in this case, I could just keep on tweaking the AI.
And also, it can normalize going in and out of it, right? Should we all be in 1 hour a week of therapy forever? I'm not sure. Maybe for some people it's right. Maybe for other people, something difficult is going on. You want to engage for a bit and then you want to drop off for a bit. That's totally fine, right? You go back to your normal life and then something happens again and then you could pick back up, right? Whereas otherwise with a human, there's almost like this expectation of like, oh, well, we have to keep it up, right? Because we're in a relationship. We have to talk to each other every week. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I think people need options.
Yeah, totally. I like the idea of it waxing and waning depending upon what's going on in your life.
Yeah.
Hey YouTube, thanks for watching. Please do hit like and subscribe and hit that bell if you want to be notified every time a new episode drops. Thank you.